Hello again and welcome to another Mordian Glory episode, and today I am joined by the man, the myth, the Admiral, Salty Simon himself, and we are going to be doing a bit of a after action report off the cuff. We are going to be talking about our collective, our combined first impressions of the New Guard book. Now, quick heads up, we have done a battle report with the New Guard book. We did Recon Detachment versus Mechanized Assault Detachment. I was in command of the Recon, Simon was in charge of the Mech, and that was done as a battle report, and that video is already out on the channel. So if you've not seen that battle report and you don't want to have any spoilers for what happened in it, then please make sure to check out that video, and there'll be a link to that video down in the description below so you can go and find it. But with all of that said, let's dive straight into the episode. No messing around today, and preface the video. Simon, he's a salty boy today. He's a salty boy. But we promised that not only are we going to have salt, but we're also going to have some sugar as well. And we're going to try and make sure that we have lots of positive things, and we make sure that we're looking at things both, objectively, but also passionately. But with that said, Simon, take it away. I know you've got some strong opinions. Let's start with the positives. Let's start with the positives first. Well, okay. Yeah. Okay. So you don't have a negative introduction.
No, I think, I'll take the shit sandwich. We'll start with the good. We'll get on to me ranting. We'll finish on,
I suppose it does go bread, which is nice, and then it goes shit, and then it goes bread again, right?
Yeah, that's all.
I think the positive thing about the Guard book is, I think the Recon Detachment they've absolutely got it perfect. And
it's so good.
It's so good. And B, I think, generally speaking, the flavor's back. I think they've not necessarily got it all right. Like you might argue some of the flavour tastes like poo, but the flavour is back. So, Simon, give me your thoughts on Recon Detachment as the person that faced off against it.
I was not expecting it to be as... I knew it was going to be sticky, but oh my God, it is sticky. That one stratagem, what's it called?
The wiggle your bum stratagem. Courageous diversion.
That is so good. I know we had that conversation about was smoke better or that. And I think you can literally make your whole army -1 to hit by careful placement of one unit.
If you just basically yeet forward one blob, have it strung out across the front, and then go diversion.
Yeah. Especially if you can get that one blob. If it's, you're running it as Cadians on an objective with a Cadian command squad, so you're going to be saving on 3s against. Was it AP1 that you could still save on 3s?
So you can have take cover, which increases your save by 1, and then you can have the Recon Detachment, which. If you have the benefit, it gives you the benefit of cover all the time. And you've already got the benefit of cover, then you get +1 to save again. Yeah. And the way that rules is written that this works is essentially you take your save first, and then you apply the benefit of cover from it. So even though Recon Detachment it looks like, oh well, I get benefit of cover first, then I get the better save. Is actually how it sort of works out in the wash is you're on a 3-up save with the benefit of cover, which basically means that and some people have been getting their sort of brain in a twist about this. But if you're a smooth brain like me, the easy way to think about it is how does it work when you fire a heavy bolter at a Marine in cover? He still has a 3-up save. That's the way to think about it with Guard and Recon Detachment, or Cadian's Recon Detachment. Plus, you could be -1 to hit, and the squad that's giving you the -1 to hit also has a 6-up feel no pain. Yeah. Which we basically forgot in the game because we were just so excited about the -1 to hit thing.
You were excited by it. I don't recall me being remotely excited in the slightest. A few expletives are.
Well, you would have been excited if
my exact words.
You would have been excited if your mechanized dreams hadn't been falling apart around you. Well, one thing I wanted to mention about recon detachment, and I think it's kind of very relevant because we were recently at a teams tournament together, and I can't help but feel like recon detachment is going to be phenomenally powerful inside a teams event, because for the viewers back home, how teams event works is essentially like you can have as many people on a team as you want. Maybe it's a 4-man event, 5-man event. I think WTC is like 8-man events or something mad.
4 or 8, isn't it?
Yeah, but basically you have 4 people on a team. Each person, each round in the tournament will play their own 2,000-point game, but the pairings aren't done like they are done in a singles event. Essentially, the captains of each team go through an elaborate process of smoke and mirrors to try and make sure that they get the pairings they want for their team, because obviously certain 40k isn't balanced and certain armies will do better than others. So what I think is so powerful about recon is if you're on a team and you say to your captain, whatever you do, just don't pair me into a melee army. I don't care what matchup you give me, just don't pair me into a melee army. That's actually that's a really easy order for your captain to receive. That's really easy. Like, he doesn't need to worry about it being specific. He can literally just be like, okay, just that makes the rest of the pairings easy for the rest of the team as well. Like, just as long as the recon guy isn't getting melee. And I think it makes it. I think it's a very powerful detachment, but it's obviously got weaknesses if it gets paired into World Eaters. But if you can manipulate those pairings that you can in teams, it becomes baby. It becomes a very spicy meatball. Yeah.
Very, very, very. I thought it was good fun. It was flavorful, really sticky. I mean, that's
precision melter guns.
Oh Christ! Yeah, about that. Precision melter guns.
Precision flavors. Yeah.
Crying in Deathmark.
Yeah.
Precision melters. Yeah, that was quite spicy. I mean, like you say, you're running it with that Bane blade. If you took that Bane blade out, then that's what, 500?
500.
Something.
Yeah.
500. So what's that? Another 2 big infantry blobs.
Oh yeah, easily.
Yeah.
You could probably
and a boatload of cannons.
Yeah. So each infantry blob comes to about 185 points. So if you take 2 of those, you're not even spending 400 points. So swap the Bane blade out, and the fact that I had like a bit of a Mimi Commissar in there as well, and I reckon you could get 2. I reckon you could get 2 blobs of infantry and maybe a couple of squads of las cannons as well. I think that would be, because only 50 points. It's 50 points, 3 las cannons. It's bonkers.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah.
I mean, the other thing as well is we've got. I mean, some of the stratagems that we didn't really use. I mean, you talk about melee, you still got Tanglefoot grenades in there.
Yeah.
So you know, that's quite good. Scouting outriders. You know, one of the things we'll talk about I'll rant about when we get to mechanized guard, but actually that's a nice. You know. I mean, that's in the wrong detachment personally, but there you go. And Scramblefield didn't really come up.
No.
So, you know, actually, I mean, you're looking here. You are. Every single one of those stratagems is really, really good. I mean, like crack shots. Yeah, that's, you know, you're not playing this against my Necrons because that'd be vicious. But you know, that's. Out of all those 6 stratagems, that's probably the weakest.
Yeah, I think it's
very situationally very good.
I think that when I first saw the recon detachment, I didn't fully appreciate the strength of its stratagems.
Yeah.
I thought I sort of poo-pooed the precision one, but didn't really. I poo-pooed the precision one because precision generally is it feels quite rubbish in 40k, but I think. That's because it's often the weapons that have precision. So, like, someone shoots a few sniper rifles, a few death marks around, you're like, whatever. But if someone shoots you with 3 to 6 precision plasmas and melters, it feels a lot. It feels a lot more interesting. Yeah.
That's my Castellan.
Yeah. And I think you kind of forget that 10th edition is literally built around units never do anything on their own. Units always have a leader.
Yeah.
And trying to snipe leaders out with sniper rifles, ironically, isn't very easy, but sniping someone out with melters and plasmas is actually much more possible.
Right, yeah. I mean, I think the other thing, you're talking about World Eaters. The way you're naturally going to build that, if you're taking 6 infantry blobs, then actually you can scout 2 blobs of Catachans out front. 2 20-man Catachans is going to be, you can string that right across a board.
Yeah.
So actually, they are going to get minced in melee, but you've got, it's easy, you're not trying to screen out with 5-man blocks, are you? You can screen out with 40 Catachans right across the board. So even if you are going into a melee army, they are going to get snarled up in that.
I think there's also the fact that the enemy has to stay an inch away from you, right? For when they're doing their move. So now this is very hypothetical, and you may not have the physical movement to do this, but let's say you take a Catachan blob, string it all the way out, yeet it all the way up. We're talking scout move, advance, move. You get as far forward as you can. You make a nice big screening line. Someone then moves their, let's say, 8-bound right into your face. And you go, okay, well, you've moved within 9 inches of me, so I'm going to do the reactive move stratagem. Bang, move back 6 inches. Now that's a 7-inch charge. And then you go, tangle foot, it's a 9-inch charge. And it's like, okay. And then I think the reason why recon attachment, and the reason why I think I sort of don't want to go to melee armies, is because it's not that I don't think I can handle them, because I think there is chances to handle them. It's just I basically don't have an army rule. So I could do pretty much the same thing with like combined arms, with screening and blobs and everything. Maybe not reactive movement, screening and blobs, but then I've got lethal hits.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to get to is actually you can, if you're in a singles turret, you came up, you're not completely. You have got some tools to cope with that. There is things you can do innately within the Guard Codex with the Catachans, with some of those stratagems. And again, if you got a couple of, it's similar to when we played World Eaters at Adepticon way back, and it came with Grey Knights. That if they're coming at you, you've got if you have taken a couple of units of Outriders or Scouts, then there's going to be gaps for you to take them back off the table and pop them up in the backfield. So I certainly, it's not an auto lose, is what I'm trying to get at. There are tools in that toolbox within the Codex that it's going to be a tougher matchup than we had on the other day, but there are tools in that there you can play around a melee army.
100%. It's not an auto lose, but it's a harder matchup.
Yeah, I'll tell you. But I have such a good detachment.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, hello. Which one's that?
We've got Kylo here. She's trying to drink my paint water. Come on then, you sweetie. There we go. Here we are.
Yeah.
There you go. She's come down now. She's come down.
Really, I think that's definitely up there with combined arms as being the top one.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. We've had a few people, various of our online commentators, being like, I think recon might be quite good, actually. And I'm like, yes!
Sod's Law waited 6 years for a Codex, and the bloody
infantry one's the best.
Horde infantry one comes out the best. Oh, Christ alive.
As it should be.
Oh, dear.
I was trying to think, there was one, might have to circle back around to it. Oh, that was it, yeah. So one of the things that I was doing a live stream on this, and chat pointed out to me, was that cavalry benefit from the recon thing.
Yeah, that's what I mean, yeah.
So it's regiment units, not regiment infantry, regiment units, and then walker units. So I think that is actually quite significant, because talking about one of the weaknesses of this thing potentially being melee, being able to take cavalry in there, and the cavalry getting not only their lances, we're talking like, especially if you go into just like cheap units of Rough Riders that go bang, just melt lancing people. It's actually one of the few detachments that I feel actually the cavalry benefits from it, because you look at combined arms, it's like ranged attacks, so cavalry doesn't get a benefit from being in that detachment. it's there and it's fine, but you actually do get a benefit from it in the recon one. And again, I can't think of it. There must be one in the comment section. I'll remind us, but I can't think of many other detachments which actually the cavalry benefit from being in it. So it's not only feels because sometimes you put units in a detachment and you're like, I feel like I'm putting this in here because I need to, but I'm not actually benefiting from it. Like people who put people who put tanks in Bridgehead, or people who put tanks in mechanized, for example. We'll go over to mechanized in a moment. They put them in there because they're like, I need long range fire support, but it also kind of irks slightly because you're putting units in which aren't benefiting from your detachment rule. So I quite like the fact that cavalry benefit from it from recon because you're putting something in that helps you solve a problem, which is melee. Being able to countercharge with Rough Riders, and also it doesn't feel like you're putting something in that you're not benefiting. It feels like you're putting something that's naturally meant to be in that detachment.
Yeah, and again, I go back to that, like you've got them in there, but then you have got that stratagem that allows you to take them off the board, which I think, it's not right. It's not Grey Knight up and downy, but was it Scouted Outriders? That's
it's
the one.
On and offy. It's not uppy downy. It's on and offy.
Yeah, and I think that's a really, really great, especially with the movement that they've got as well. So it'd be interesting to see how they work out in this detachment. But I definitely think there's a bit of play there.
I mean, it's just take a unit of. I think it's like the horsey guys are actually kind of hard to kill. Because, like, you deep strike 5 Scions that. I mean, think of Simon, 5 Scions is actually 5 points more expensive than 5 Rough Riders.
Yeah.
And the Rough Riders have got the same save, except for they've got double the wounds, because they've got 2 wounds a pop.
Yeah.
So
10 wounds.
It's 10 wounds. So if someone, turns around and sprays you down with a bit of bolter fire, you're like, okay, I think I'll just leave now. And you just go off the board. And you just come back somewhere else and do some more objective play. I think this is great. Like five Rough Riders in Recon is almost an auto include because you can either start them on the board and start, use them as counterpunch units, or early objective units for like, let's say you get extend battle lines turn 1, but you don't want to put a 20-man blob out there because you're just going to get gunned down even in Recon, or charge down. Okay, well I'll put my 5 Rough Riders out there, or you put them in reserve and you're like, sweet, I've got my secondary game right there. Yeah, 5 Rough Riders definitely seems like an auto-include for Recon to me. Just, they're so flexible.
Yeah, it's a pity you can't use Scramble Field with them as well. Not Scramble Field. I'm just checking now.
Can you use Scramble Field?
You create diversion with them as well.
Yeah, you can.
So, actually, so all of a sudden you've got we talk about how easy it is to get that in place. Actually, all of a sudden you've got a unit that can do 10-inch moves to put them where you want. So that's a.
I think I'm definitely Team Cavalry, Team Horsey Boys all the way now. Just need to 3D print to go. Start print.
Plenty of them.
I've got a bunch of. So about a year ago, someone in the community sent me about 10 Death Riders, but unfortunately they were very brittle, and so they've basically disintegrated in the post, unfortunately, which is why I've never used them. But still appreciate the gesture, of course. We're not being ungrateful here. But yeah, I think I will need to print off a few of my own. I do have 20 though. I got of the Death Riders.
Yeah, got 2 boxes.
I guess do I use them? But I want to use the Rough Riders. Death Riders I'm so on. Rough Riders I'm very hard on.
The Grognards have got a decent one I've been looking at.
Yeah, for sure. Right, Simon, I think that's far too much positivity. What, Simon? What are your incredibly balanced and logical thoughts on the mechanized detachment?
It's quite fluffy.
And the rest.
It's awful. It's terrible. For my limited, not my limit. It's terrible.
Yeah,
it is so bad. So I went away from the game. I thought, you know what, maybe hand on heart, it could well be me being a prat. But then you start actually scratching the surface. So you go, right, okay, +1 to wound, great, okay, very nice. Well, if I'm playing my Raven Guard, I get +1 to wound plus reroll all hits across the army. Because as Oath the moment, that's my So then I did the sums. So I kind of said if I'm a 10-man blob of Scions and I'm attacking a Redemptor on an objective, that +1 to wound makes about 3 or 4 wounds difference.
Fair enough.
Because if you got out of your Taurox Prime, you reroll all hits anyway.
Yeah.
You reroll all wounds anyway because this Redemptor's on. I think it made about 4 wounds difference.
Fair enough. We'll get the boys in the lab to check those numbers. By boys in the lab, I mean comment section down below.
I just use the website because it could be bothered.
Oh, Unit Crunch.
Yeah. But for that privilege, you lose in lethal hits on everything, on your tanks, on your infantry, which is just it's just better. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
It's just better. If you build completely into right, I'm not taking any tanks. I'm just going to take. 6 Chimeras, 3 Tauroxes, and 3 Taurox, and you're gonna have absolutely 0 anti-tank in there because you've lost your lethal hit. So all of a sudden, your heavy bolters are now going to be wounding anything on a 6 that's heavy. And the fundamental issue is that if you're taking your guy, so let's take I don't know, let's just take your Acadian squad out. I think we both agree that you have to run, if you're going to get the most out of it, you've got to run it with elite.
Yeah.
A 10-man infantry squad is not going to last against a 5-man intercessor squad shooting bolters at it.
Not going to last against anything. A fart in the wind will knock them over.
Yeah. So, it's and the difference between a 20-man -1 to hit 3 up save with 25 models in with the commander squad and a 10-man bare bones, it's just immense.
Yeah.
So.
If I may just cut in 1 second, sorry to interrupt. Some people might be like, well, of course you can't compare 10 blokes to 25 blokes, and you can't compare like the durability of the recon. But I think it's actually a really important comparison because the whole point of Met Guard in the past is that it's been very durable, and that fact that you have to chew through the Chimera to get to the blokes inside. And now this attachment basically encourages you to get your infantry out, whether they're elite infantry or whether they're regular infantry. It encourages you to get your infantry out, and so now you can't take the Chimera's durability into account because sure, the Chimera can get them from point A to point B, but it's a 5-turn game, and if turn 2 or turn 3 you're losing all your infantry because they're jumping out of Chimeras, it's just not good. It completely messes up how Met Guard has traditionally worked. Now, obviously, I'm going to pass back over to Simon, but I think we do need to talk in the future about what I would call traditional Met Guard versus new Met Guard.
Well, I think new Met Guard is the same as it was before the Codex. To be honest, it's combined arms.
But I think that's traditional Met. So traditional Met Guard is where you have cheap infantry and Chimeras, whose whole thing is to just, if you're in the Chimeras by turn 3, you've won. If you've not, you've lost.
Yeah.
And new Met Guard is this new detachment where you're flying out everywhere. Yeah, you're launching these missiles at people at enemy units.
Yeah. So you're getting your guys out, and yes, there are a couple of ways to get them back in, but they have to be alive. There's no way of doing it before they take the punch. Yeah. So that's the fundamental issue. They're going to get a slap in one way or another. Yes, you can get them up the board, but because your vehicles are around bases, every pivot's 2 inches, and you've got no way of going through terrain. So actually, your movement is somewhat stunted. I was hoping it was going to be the movement shenanigan. That's what I want. That there was a way that you could bring people in early in in your mech, or you could take them off, like that stratagem, and you could, if they were in the side, you can do the old flaky sweep,
flanky sweep,
flanky sweep with them. But there's no, there's just
I think if you compare this detachment to Eldar Windhost, now you may or may not have seen Eldar Windhost, but it is basically movement personified. Like, it's almost too much movement. Like, you're not even going to be able to use all of the movement, but it's all about the movement, and there's a couple of stratagems that help boost your damage output so that you're not just getting to the enemy quicker and dying quicker. And I think that's what Met Guard, I think it should have been the movement one. It as insane as it might sound, I kind of wish that the Hammer of the Emperor detachment rule and the Met Guard one had kind of been combined. So you had like, so you had the extra advance and then you had the get out, because then at least your vehicles are benefiting. So much of your army doesn't benefit from the rule. Yeah. It's weird. Like, it's. Why would you?
It's literally your transports themselves don't benefit from the rule. So yes, you can give one an order.
Sweet.
Okay, great. That's nice. Yeah, I'll take that.
Sweet.
You've got you know, if you've got an engine seer, but then naturally your engine seer has got to keep up with your chimeras or your Tauros. That's not easy enough to do. You got no buffs on any tanks that you've got in the list, so that's a real. And the maneuverability of it is no better. It's not that much better than it would have been under combined arms.
Yeah.
And then you've got the actual fundamental issue. If there was a way that you could get your men out and back in, I don't know if it was like up to 2 units can get out and get back in. So actually, they're going to pile out, do some damage, get back in the Chimera.
Yeah,
that would be better. But there's no way of keeping them alive when you get them out. There's no one unit can have the thing that can give them the benefit of cover if they're still within 3 inches.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Great. That's one unit. It's not like you're almost wanting something to like pop smoke on a Chimera and give that to a unit within. That would.
But then, as we discovered, you're spending all your CP popping smoke, so you don't have CP for what you actually want.
Yeah. So, it's fluffy, but it's just the maneuverability is not great. The survivability is. There's not really much to increase maneuverability. There's not much to increase the survivability of your little fellas when they get out.
Yeah.
And there's no damage buffs in there. Other than this one.
Yeah.
But if your Chimera gets shot from out from underneath you can't get.
Yeah. That's the biggie right there.
And then yes, I think at one point I think was it 3 units of 2 or 3 and 1 of 4 got back into.
Yeah.
Shattered remains of units. Now they're not going to do much going forward. It's a swing and a miss for me. I was hoping it was going to be they're going to be zipping here, there, and everywhere, and it's really not. It's zipping one place, getting out, and getting killed.
I think a lot of people. I think there's something we need to sort of address, and I think it's a very, very important sort of qualifier, is we are looking at this especially from the perspective of running a traditional mechanized guard list. Now, a traditional mechanized guard list is one where if you guys have watched the channel, you've seen me doing it for 18 months. You've seen Simon do it as well on occasion when I let him run his Met Guard. Ever the antagonist, never the protagonist kind of thing with Simon. But you take units. It tends to be 6 chimeras. You take a 10-man squad in each chimera. Those 10-man squads tend to be relatively cheap, like Catachans or Cadians. They come, the total package comes to about 125 to 150 points, and the job of those chimeras is to act as your screen, and the job of those chimeras and those guys is to basically move on to the objectives, be in there first, draw the fire for your bigger tanks, and to basically just it's like Russian nesting dolls. They blow open the chimera, and then the infantry pile onto the objective, so you still got it and all that kind of stuff. If they're a melee army trying to take away your objective control, they've got to like chop through the chimera first, then your blokes pile out, and then you get a chance to shoot the enemy away. And this is a very effective tactic, and it's been very effective for years, for other editions, but especially in 10th edition, it's been very effective. And now it just doesn't work in this detachment. It just doesn't work because your OC your objective control is a carefully husbanded resource inside traditional Met Guard, and throwing it away because you feel like you should throw it away because you want to get your +1 to wound just doesn't work. And so basically, if you're going to run traditional Met Guard, there's literally zero reason for you to take the detachment. Zero. Go for combined arms because your tanks are going to benefit, your transports are going to benefit, and ironically, the guys inside are still going to benefit because you'll get lethal hits against their infantry.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now the thing is, if we talk about, it's like new metal. It's like, you know, instead of new guys, new metal. New metal tried to destroy the metal, but the metal showing our age a little bit there, Simon, I think. But new mech is a completely different beast, and I think new mech basically revolves around a bunch of one-shot pop combos. So it's like I'm going to take. It almost feels like it's not a cohesive army. It's an army of combos, of individual combos. So like for example, let's take Krieg Flamers, and then let's put them in a Taurox, yeet them forward, jump out, flame someone. Someone tries to move, so then you flame them again with Overwatch, and then you jump back inside the Chimera when they try to charge you. And it's like, that's a really cool combo, and you could do that 3 times. But I think my problem with Met Guard is people are looking at these combos in isolation, but I think they're not thinking about the bigger scale, where it's like, okay, well, what happens if you need to do that 2 or 3 times in a turn? You can't.
Yeah.
You can only use stratagem. You've only got so much CP. And you can only use jumping back in, you know, all the stratagems individually are really good, but you can only use. You can't use them all at the same. You can't use them all on multiple units at the same time to try and. It should have. It should have been number of units that you can jump back inside. Should have been like, you know how I got on the siege detachment? It's like you can affect 3 units with bombardments. There should be you can re-embark a number of units depending on the size of the game.
Or like the Grey Knights detachment, something like that all of a sudden changes the dynamics.
Yeah.
And, you know, and then you almost go, you could have said, look, if it's a Kaskin or a Scion, that counts as 2, or I don't know, you know, it's actually, you know, you can maybe get one, you know, one Kaskin, or, you know, 1 elite and 1 normal squad out and back in a turn, or 3 normal squads, and all of a sudden actually it gives you a little bit of and that stratagem's fine. You know, you mentioned the one about when you're getting charged. Well, that's great, but you've got to still survive the shooting phase.
Yeah.
You know, when squad of 5 intercessors have got 20 shots.
Yeah.
That's, you know, if you do the maths, 20 intercessors on hitting on 3s against a normal squad of guardsmen, they're going to have what?
They're AP -1 as well, aren't they? Yeah, they're -1 on the bolt rifles. So they're going to hit a number of times. They might not wipe every single member of the 10-man squad out, but even if they wipe like 6, 7, 8 of them out, it's like combat effective on that unit essentially.
So I reckon that squad of 5, just, you know, hitting on 3s, wounded on 3s, and then you're going to say he's going to wipe 7 out.
Yeah, gut instinct. I agree with that. Yeah.
So, but you know, great, fantastic. So you don't, you know, great. Yeah, you can then get back in if you get charged, but you're getting in 3.
Yeah.
I think that's a problem. I just. It just disappointed. What I was hoping, I think, in my head, I was really looking at going, is this going to be the maneuverment shenanigans, or is it going to, you know, whack-a-mole attachment? And it's not. It's just a really, really watered down, you know. And this is a bit when I went away and I thought maybe I've played this wrong, and then I sat there. I was painting my Raven Guard yesterday, and I went, well, hang on a second, these guys against one target is going to get reroll all hits +1 to wound.
Yeah. And maybe, I fil like in my mind, there's two ways to make new Met Guard work. And I think the first way is you try and sort of dominate individual parts of the board. So you jump, so you sort of you keep a lot of your stuff in reserve, not like for physical, like not like strategic reserve, like behind ruins and stuff. And then you go, okay, well, I've got like a couple of CP, 2 or 3 CP built up here. I'm now going to take these 2 or 3 Torxes and a Chimera around this flank, and everyone jumps out. Everyone jumps out. You basically exercise that part of the board, and then the clapback is your defensive-ness is there's no one left alive. So and then you do that again later on. I just don't know if you can do that. I don't know if theory doesn't meet reality there, because the reality is by the time you've messed around doing that, the game's over and you haven't got enough primary. The other way, I wonder, is if it literally is the game is over turn 2 one way or another, because you drive 12 units up with every special weapon that you can get your hands on, and turn 2 everyone gets out, and you're like, I'm having +1 to wound across my entire army for 1 turn. Either you get tabled or you don't, and if you don't get tabled, I've lost the game. And frankly, the second option sounds much more plausible. Also sounds incredibly unfun to play against, because basically you can see the go turn coming. And it also sounds incredibly unfun to use, because it's probably relatively easy for someone to counter that. Just screen that out. Yeah. So I think, it's a mechanized assault, but
I mean, look, there's much better players than me are probably looking at me talking this and going, actually, no, I've missed something, and there's ways and means around it, and it's Lewis, going for the dumbing down and just going for lethal hits. But I can't see there's anything in the suite of stratagems. I mean, for me, the +1 to wound getting out, that should be a stratagem. It feels like a stratagem to me, not. Not if you've got 2 or 3 units that I can get out and get back in every turn, or what, and then for 1 CP or 2 I can then make one of those +1 to wound, and then actually here's my dagger to whatever I want. I'm going to try and put this armored fist squad here, and I can +1. But I can maybe do it once a turn, and then get back in, and then you can react to that. Seems a lot better than. But that's it. There'll be better players than me who probably get more out of it, and we've only played it once. But I think just from that one game, there was a time when the Chimera was shot that had the officer in, so then he couldn't order the squad that was in the. So there's just a lot of the combos are very easy just to fall apart quite.
Yeah, I think that's that was the awakening moment for me. I thought up until that point, I was like, this detachment's pretty good, and then it kind of got hammered home quite starkly that it was like, oh, well, my entire army rule is basically based around my. It sounds obvious, but it's based around my transports. But what happens when the transports die? Yeah. Which they always do. Like, they always die. You're going to get, basically most games, you're going to get to turn 3 and be like, I don't have an army rule.
Yeah.
I don't have one. Yeah, I think to sum it up, I think that when I was using the recon attachment, it felt like the detachment was working with me as the player, and to execute the detachment and what the detachment was trying to do felt very natural. It was a very smooth process. I felt like the Met Guard one, it felt like the detachment was actively working against you who was using it. It didn't feel like it was trying to be helpful.
Yeah. And I think it just trying to set up those punches is so, I think when you set up those punches, great, but the punch isn't worth, if you're doing it like the new Grey Knights detachment, and you can do this, that, and the other, and then you get that punch, and actually the slap is pretty good. You can get the unit down, you can get a unit that's going to be charging 6 inches and can put out a little bit of firepower, and you've set it all up. But I just don't think getting that one unit out is where you've got to get one out with the 2 units in one place, get the Castellan out. Both squads have got to get out, and So that's kind of, and then you've got the issues where you can only really get, if you're running Kaskin, and I mean, I guess you just run a Taurox with the Scions and a Chimera with a Kaskin and a Castellan attached. That's the only way you can kind of get the orders.
So many points, though.
Yeah.
It's so many points. Like, and then you don't get Scout because the Kazakin have Scout, but the Castellan doesn't. So then, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. Yeah. Let's move on because we've deep dived Recon there. We've deep dived Mech. Let's zoom out a little bit and just sort of look at the Guard Codex as a whole. Sort of do some hot takes, sort of 5-10 minutes. And sort of this doesn't need to be about anything specific, but I would say, what do you think is the best attachment in the Guard Codex?
If you'd have asked me this time last week, I would have said Combined Arms.
Yeah.
I definitely think that the Recon detachment...
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Vindication!
Again, that's a hot take after one game. But
we like hot takes. The hotter the better, Simon. That's okay.
It's really spicy... the defensive buffs that you can put in place quite easily. That one stratagem is so.
Just running around.
I mean, because you literally just by, and it's not the most difficult way. You can almost run your army in a wedge. And just make. And as long as that unit is in the middle on an objective, then virtually everything. So that's really, really good.
It's really simple to execute when you think about it. There's none of this, like we've debated back and forth there about how can we make mech work. Recon, it's like take people, put on objective, win game. That's why I love it.
Conversation about smoke and
it speaks to me, Simon. It speaks to me and my smooth brain.
But you can, I mean, I think the data sheets are very, very good in the Codex. To be honest, I really do. I think it's the strength of the book is in the data sheets.
Yeah, I 100% agree. A lot of people, I think it's one of the strongest things about the Guard in 10th edition has been our foundation of data sheets has been rock solid. Do you know what's crazy? I get it. I get it because, like, you expect your Codex to come out and sort of fundamentally rewrite everything from the ground up. But there's been quite a lot of people out there who have been like, this Codex doesn't change enough. It's like, why would I even bother with it when basically the data sheets are the same as the index? It's like, bro, that's a good thing, because that's a good thing however you look at it. Because if you don't need to buy the Codex, don't buy the Codex. If you're like, I'm going to use the same data sheets, the data sheets are the same, that's fine. But B, it's like the data sheets were really good. I was so worried Games Workshop was going to be like, we need to rewrite all of this back to the drawing boards. I'm so glad they didn't mess with it, because that was our foundation. Yeah.
I mean, I think what's really, really good is the Combined Arms detachment. There's 3 different ways you can run that. So, it's not like here's, because you can run that as mech, you can run that as infantry, or you can run it as, combined randomly. Who'd have guessed? There's who knew? So,
only hot takes here, Simon. Wow.
So it's hot take. You can run the Combined Arms in a combination of ways. So that's really good. Then you've got, I think you've got 2 competitive off the top, two standout choices. Then you've got, I mean, I think next time we perhaps run the siege on the tank.
There's a big debate right now of siege versus Combined Arms.
Really?
Yeah. Because obviously Combined Arms is lethal hits, right? It's great. Yeah. But Siege, it opens up so many. It opens up so many data sheets, because one of the biggest problem with a lot of guard, we've said this, they're solid, but nothing's perfect. Things like the Lemur's battle tank, for example, has got a big problem with the fact that it's only AP -1 on its main gun. Yeah. And Siege, you could be like, incendiary, incendio, and then suddenly it's like, oh, but -1 isn't a problem if I'm ignoring cover. So. Yeah, and also I think it's the fact that it's the Krieg detachment. So a lot of people are like, I want the Krieg to be good. Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's certainly two. To be honest, I've not spent that much time looking at the Siege attachment before. But you got two solid attachments. One fun. I mean, the tank one looks fun, to be honest. Not
really? I think it looks so bad that it looks unfun. I'm just looking at like. I mean, I thought the mechanized attachment rule was easy to go without in the game if you're not careful. But the tank one, it's like, sweet, I'll have this auto advance 6. This tank that really doesn't want to get into melee can now forego all of its shooting and move towards the enemy faster. Oh, joy of joys. Like, the ironic thing about the tank detachment is that it's better with Tauroxes, because they could go 18 they can go 21 inches. With their advance, with their move of 12, their auto advance of 6, and their move. Even maybe with scout move, they can go 27 inches and dump people out. And it's like, oh joy. I don't know why they got a picture of the Baneblade on that thing. There should be a picture of a Taurox going full send across a NASCAR track.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, it's like the mechanized assault. They've got a picture of the Cadia where it should be a site. It should be a Taurox. Talking of pictures, though, the picture on the Combined Arms Regiment is. I mean, what is going on with that?
You don't like it?
The guy looks like, I don't know what, the guy looks like a bloody Necron.
I've got my, let's see if we can hold up the camera. I've got mine here.
I looked at that the other day. Is this like a, I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so here, we'll hold this up to the camera. I think Simon's going on about that guy there.
He does not look a healthy individual.
No, he doesn't. He does look a bit zombified, doesn't he? Yeah, people have been saying this with a lot of the new artwork. The artwork is very hit and miss in the book. So some of it's fantastic. So, for example, this is the best Imperial Guard picture of all time. You can't even debate it. That one where it's the 3rd edition Codex art where they're fighting in the trench network. And they've that looks like it's been remastered a little bit because the colours look a bit vibrant. I think the problem is that basically the best art in this book is the old art, and the worst art in this book is the new art. But you've got the same with the Katachan. I mean, the Katachan guy. Look, I mean, I can't really say this, but he looks like he's going to have to take a particularly diminutive bus to school. I mean, look at him. He's not looking great, is he? He's like, and the one with the bolter. The one with the bolter looks like he's actually not that hench. And it's like, let me put it this way. If the Katachan art isn't making them look absolutely hench, then what are we doing here? You know, what are we doing here? I mean, compare that art to, you know what I mean? I mean, it's not even similar. It's not even on the same level. So yeah, I think it's the some people really like the new art though, and it's basically, art is obviously art, you know, it's subjective. It's basically, do you like the more detailed cinematic art, or do you like the more minimalist art? And personally, I'm not an artiste, so I like things that look more realistic. Yeah.
Well, the whole package, though, like the little backbounder that the book and the cards comes in, that's really smart. You know, really fantastic.
I am really glad that I got this. That I got the Krieg box. 2 of them, in fact. You as well.
All the cool kits.
Yeah. I am really glad that I got it, because I think the box is great. The data cards are great. The Codex is great. Really glad that I got that classic Krieg Codex. Yeah, really good.
Yeah, but anyway, going back to sorts of things people might be more. I think it's really good, to be honest. Like I said, it's always a bit annoying when your favoured detachment comes out and is the weaker one. But But Met Guard is still alive and well. It's just not in the Met Guard Codex. It's actually, and the data sheets are great. And there's, I've just literally, before I came on this call, I was working out what I needed to do to get my my infantry to have 6 squads and 3 command squads.
Oh, he's going recon, baby. He wants the Simon. This is actually a historical moment. This is 1 minute. Let's just drink it in like a big cup of Joe. Like, this is Simon saying that he's going infantry guard. Is this true?
I would like the option of. Well, I've got the option already.
I am flabbergasted.
They got rid of the. I have got 120. I could field 120 infantry, but then they got rid of like the heavy weapons teams in the squad. So now I'm a bit shy.
My gas is flabbered. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So anyway, I found some. Something that I can like. Some proxies that look really good, and I've got melter cannons and stuff. Yeah, so 3D printer goes brew.
Oh, you going full set. You can get the original Steel Legion models 3D printed now, so they don't chip as much. That's great. And also some fantastic efforts have been done by 3D print designers to have all of the Steel Legion with the weapons that they were missing. So no more janky lasgun to melter gun conversions or anything like that. So that's all out there, which is great.
Yeah, that's what I found really, really good. And then I can get some more of my little proxy orc heads for banners and stuff.
Yeah, the orc heads being banners is a really cool idea. I like that.
That came to me the other day. I thought, there you go. Don't need to worry about banners. We can use all heads as banners.
Yep, I'd allow that. It's very easy to tell who's who. In the command squad, if there's one guy holding an orc head up, he's the banner. Just a moment, just for the viewers. This is just definitely not going to upset 50% of the viewers, and definitely not going to make the other 50% chortle. Simon, how do you feel about the fact that you had all of your heavy weapon teams rebased?
Oh.
How many was it? Like a dozen original metal Steel Legion weapon teams rebased, missile launchers, heavy bolters, las cannons.
Just trolling me at the moment. That really is. That's just like someone really taking the piss.
Yeah, and now they need to all go back onto all of them.
Yeah, well, some do, some don't, do they? I mean, they're all on diff. That's the really But no, I just get some base extenders.
Yeah,
I need to get some anyway because you need some for what's called is on 32 mil base, isn't she?
Creed.
Yeah.
Do you know what, man? I said this on stream the other day. I've been 18 months in 10th edition. I've not rebased anything. I've not rebased any of my heavy weapon teams. I've not rebased any of my infantry, any of my characters. I've not rebased my 300 plus 200 swarm. I've not rebased a single one on 28 mils. I just haven't done it. I've just refused, and I've gone to a tournament on average every 2 weeks, and basically no one has noticed, and those people who have noticed have genuinely not given a shit. And I can confidently say, hand on heart, that me having things on incorrect base sizes has never given me an advantage or had any impact in the game whatsoever. Because
but let's be honest, at the moment, half the guard community hasn't got a clue what base size things should be on. So how's the opponent supposed to know?
Yeah, that's it. And it just doesn't. Look, people go on and on about making such a difference. I agree. If you are going to a tournament and your ambition, let's say you're going to a big super major, and your ambition is to go all the way, then probably you should have the right base size. Because especially if you're going to get to on final, maybe a golden ticket or something, sure, okay, whatever. But if your ambition is I'm going to tournament to roll some dice, have some fun, and drink a few beers, then really it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whatsoever. And when we're at that, when you're sort of at that level of 40k, most games are kind of 40k is not that complicated. You tend to find most games are over by turn 3 anyway, because either you've been blown off the table or they've been blown off the table, or typically they've been blown off the table or you've been chopped off the table as a guard player. Yeah. So there you go. But yeah, I'm not going to go on about it. But yeah, I am really not fussed. Yeah, really not fussed about different base sizes whatsoever.
You have to bring that up.
I've got my little soapbox, man. It's got to be done. Yeah. It's got to be done.
Get that little festering wound that's open. Just get your fingers in there.
Stabbing it a bit more, poking it with a stick. Was there anything else? I think we talked about. I think combined arms we've talked about. I still think that's the go-to for most people.
Yeah.
Tank one's rubbish. Siege one. I think we need to get a game. I think we need to get a game with the Siege one, a game with the combined arms. Maybe not necessarily versus each other, but just...
I'd be interested to do, yeah.
Yeah. Versus Star Shatter, you want to... Yeah, versus the net guns. But yeah, I think overall... What was that, man?
I said, incidentally, it's not as good as people think it is, but there you go.
I think... Do you know what? I think Star Shatter was not anywhere near on the same level, but a little bit like the Met Guard attachment, where on paper it looks good. The reality is it didn't quite translate onto the table.
It is very completely off piece there, but yeah, we'll save that one for when we play it.
Yeah,
it's quite good. It's not the all-conquering behemoth that people first thought.
Not like Recon Guard.
I think that's very, very good.
I'm telling you right now, dear viewers. I'm telling you right now, Recon Guard must be something to get Mr. Mech over here to be working out. Actually, this is what I was going to ask you. Last thing to wrap it up. What's on the table, both virtually, both being planned to be on the painting table and actually the painting table for getting your guard army ready for the new Codex? What have you seen in the new Codex that's made you want to start trying out different units?
Well, I'm going to round out my infantry.
Okay.
I'm going to round out the infantry, and I'm going to get my 2 Krieg boxes sorted. So get 2 big guns, 20 horses, 10 engineers, and the field marshal.
Nice.
And that's kind of. But I think number one, I want to be able to field 20 infantry, 6 lots of 20 infantry, 3 command squads, 3 castellans, and yeah, that's the first thing I'm going to do.
Have you thought about, you're going to have 2 Dreers, you could put one on a bigger, rounder base, you could have a Lord Solar.
I've already got that.
Have you? Okay, fair enough. Oh, you got your Yarrick conversion, don't you?
I've got that with a decent. Where is it?
He's not coming up, Simon. He's been censored! He's been censored!
Well,
hey, there we go.
Yeah, he doesn't look like Maggie Simpson.
Brilliant. Yeah. Took me a second to get that one with the hat. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have seen The Simpsons, by the way. I have seen that one.
Oh, thank God for that. We started watching Lower Low yet?
Not yet. For me, what's on my desk at the moment? I think I'm going 6 fobs, 3 siege guns, 6 field arms batteries, 3 siege guns. I think that has to be done. You have to, I think just for the memes, full Krieg send on fobs and siege guns. I think it's got to be done.
That's what I quite fancy. That is no tanks, just guns and go full over the top Krieg.
So how cringe / based would it be, Simon? You know how, like, back in the day, Orc players, because you never hear people doing it anymore, Orc players used to go, wow, when they declared the war and used to shake the roof of the tournament hall. How do you think I could get away with the guard equivalent being taking a World War I, like, trench whistle to a tournament, and then when I play the 2CP over the top stratagem, I could be like, over the top?
It won't be the worst thing you've ever done.
3, right, so that's sanctioned right there. all right, I think we'll wrap things up there, man, if that's okay with you.
No, it's fine. I've got to go take my mum out for dinner.
So. Oh, very nice. You're a better son than I am. There you go. People don't think we're brothers, though. We're not brothers, but Simon is just generally, in the grand scheme of things, a better son than I am.
Well, it's a birthday present. It was the end of November, so take from that what you will.
Okay, maybe retracting that statement.
Once I get there now, we'll watch. Well, no, she won't.
She's been in there, Simon. She's been in the restaurant since November. My son's coming along soon. Don't worry.
Oh dear.
All right, but we hope that you guys back home have enjoyed today's video. Let us know what you think down in the comment section. Have you managed to play a game with the book, whether it's with the leaks or you're coming across this now that the Guard Codex is in people's hands and you've been able to get a few games of it? What are your first impressions? What do you think of Recon? What do you think of Mech? Obviously, those have kind of been the hot topics of today. But generally, what detachment have you had your eye on? Has it delivered, or has it missed the mark? And as I said to Simon, what has it prompted from your hobby desk? What have you seen in the Codex has made you go out there and buy a bunch of units or put them out the pile of shame? What are you working on right now? If you have enjoyed today's video, don't forget, as always, to go ahead and smash the like button and subscribe. I know it's a little cringe asking for that kind of stuff, guys, but it actually makes a big difference. The YouTube algorithm loves interaction. It loves comments. It loves likes. It loves subscribes. And if you hated the video, you can dislike it as well, because the YouTube algorithm doesn't differentiate. So whether it's a thumbs up or a thumbs down, it feeds the beast. There we are. No, it doesn't know the difference. That's why.
I'm just going to go on YouTube now.
Just dislike every video. All right. But thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And of course, as always, we'll see you guys next time. Would you like to know more? If so, then please consider becoming a channel member or patron. By supporting the channel, not only will you be doing your part, but you'll also be helping me create more content for your viewing pleasure and unlocking a whole host of perks. You get everything from a badge next to your name, custom emojis, but the big one is access to the Mordian Glory Discord server, an online community with almost 2,500 active members. It's always popping off in the MG Discord. We've got channels for army lists, hobbying, tactics, stories, and even a pretty spicy meme section as well. For all you greenhorns that wanted to see the Mordian glory hole, today is your lucky day. And joking aside, I do want to say a massive thank you to all of the current channel members and patrons. You guys are amazing. Truly the lifeblood of the channel. I could not do Mordian Glory full time without the incredible and generous support of my members. So thank you guys so much. And last but certainly not least, I want to say a personal thank you to all of my top tier Patreons. These are the War Masters, the people who have truly gone above and beyond the call of duty. So a heartfelt thank you to Alex Dengal, Bon Vert, Lord Pryor, Mark Panconi, RJ Scorpion, Swordfish Trombone, Try Again Bragg, John Stubbs, Nick Walsh, Diesel Fox, and August Barney. Seriously guys, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your support is incredible and it makes a huge difference. Thank you so much. That's all for now. Hope you've all enjoyed today's video, and of course, as always, see you guys next time.